Maybe I should write a horror novel next. I'm Asakawa Yuzu, a freelance novelist. I've enjoyed making up stories ever since I was young, and so that was why I turned it into a job. My income remains unstable, but my work is fun. I'm best at romance-type stories, but this time I'm thinking of trying something new, like horror. By trying a new genre, I can expand my opportunities. But, having said that, I'm not very good with scary stuff, so I don't know a whole lot about horror to begin with. I've been watching a lot of occult stuff and surfing the internet to gather information. But none of it looks like stuff I could turn into a novel. On that note, suddenly I remembered a story I heard as a child. When I was in elementary school, there was a certain rumour that was popular amongst the kids. Behind the residential lot near the school, there was a large forest, and apparently, inside that forest was a shrine. It was said that if you went there, you may or may not run into a ghost. It was unclear whether there really was a shrine in the forest, but even if it was fake, it could still make for a good story. I wanted to know more, but it was popular when I was just a child, so who should I ask about it? I was no longer in contact with my friends from that time, and would my teachers even remember it? I hadn't been back home after moving to the city, but I had the next 3 days off, so maybe it was time to go back and ask around. No way! The school no longer exists! I had no idea that the elementary school I went to every single day had closed down. I planned to drop by before returning home, but when I arrived at the station, I heard that the school had already closed down. The one place I thought I might gather some information disappeared right before my eyes. What should I do now? I had planned on asking around at the school and spending the night at my parents' house, but the thought of returning home without any information was honestly less than appealing. On that note, did the forest from the story exist? It was supposed to be near the residential lot near the school, right? This had to be it, and even though it was still lunchtime, it was dark, like night. I had intended to check whether there really was a shrine inside, but it took more time and energy reaching the forest than I thought. If I kept going, then I might get too tired to return. Plus, I was, honestly, kind of afraid. I should go back. I was tired, so I could rest at home. Yes? A man suddenly called out to me. You were looking at the forest. Are you okay? That forest is dangerous, so I think you should stay away from it. Huh? It's dangerous? That forest. There are urban legends about people who go missing inside. Urban legends? Do you mean the story about how you can run into a ghost inside? Maybe, but I think you shouldn't go inside. Do you know anyone who knows more about that legend? I'd like to ask them a few questions. Well, I've looked into it a little myself, but why do you want to know about an urban legend? I'm writing a novel. I see. So you're researching for a novel. If it's okay with you, can I ask a few questions about the legend? If that's the case, then I'll tell you what I know. Oh, thank you very much. It'll be a great help. Honestly, I was a little relieved I didn't have to go inside. I spoke with the man I'd just met as we walked. It seemed he went to the same school as me, and he looked into it as much as he could until he started junior high. Oh yes, I haven't told you my name yet. I'm Kagawa Toshiaki. Asakawa Yuzu. So then, please tell me everything you know regarding the urban legend of that forest. Sure. If you visited the shrine deep in the forest and certain conditions were met, then you could meet the spirit of a young girl who was sacrificed there long ago. Then you would have to play with her forever. That was how the legend went. As for the conditions, first, you had to pass through the shrine gates, and second, after that, you would have to say, "Nani Nani-chan, come here." Apparently, this was the name of the child who was sacrificed. Name? Do you know what her name was? I don't know for sure, but I do know a possibility. Apparently, long ago, there used to be a rule that when girls were born, they were to be named either Aika or Shizuka. So then, it must be one of those. Supposing this is all real, of course, but I'm fairly certain. Why are you so sure? Well, I said before that people have gone missing because of this urban legend, right? Well, one of my close friends was one of those people. It was this friend who looked into the legend and came up with that hypothesis. He said he was going to the forest, and then he never came back. Eh? He said he wanted to confirm whether he was right or not, and, well, I fear he was. And that's why that forest is dangerous. About that shrine. Now it's a forest, but there used to be a village there, and they once sacrificed a young girl to the kami-sama of it. What I'm about to tell you now is just what I heard and what I imagine, but the young girl that was sacrificed lost both parents and had no friends. They were unable to find her any foster parents, and she was unable to make any friends. So, they sacrificed her to the kami by burning her on the shrine grounds. That's why she wants a friend to play with, and why she became an evil spirit. That's all I know. That forest is cursed, and you shouldn't go near it. Sure. Thank you very much. Well then, I'll be going now. I'll be looking forward to your novel. Ah, thank you. Toshiaki-san then started walking home. A sacrificed girl who wanted some friends. Why did they sacrifice someone just that one time? It sounded like they wanted to sacrifice just her in particular. I asked about the legend so I could include it in my novel, but the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to know. Was there really a shrine in the forest, and would I really go missing if I met the conditions? Go to the forest. Just to check whether there really is a shrine or not. As long as I didn't pass through the shrine gate, then I wouldn't meet the conditions. So, once I found the shrine, then I'd go home. Let's check it out. Why did I feel so tired making my way here during the day, but now I felt perfectly fine? And I was scared earlier, but now I wasn't scared at all. Just to check. Once I see the shrine gate, I'll leave, I said, as though trying to convince myself, and then entered the forest. After walking straight for about 5 minutes, I saw a shrine gate. Was it the one from the legend? It was oddly well maintained, but not quite so large. Well, I found the shrine gate. I had nothing else to do here, so I should go. Huh? I turned around to go home, but it seemed I went straight ahead instead and passed through the gate. But there was only a shrine gate and no shrine building. Trees grew thick everywhere, like there was just a shrine gate on the path and that was it. Why was there a shrine gate in the middle of the path? There weren't even any signs that a building might once have been here. The more you want to know something, the more curiosity brims to the surface. I had to get out of here, quickly. But even as I thought it, I wanted to know more. What would really happen if the conditions were met? There were 2 names, right? So which one was it? Aika-chan, come here. Aika-chan, come here. Big sister! When I turned around, a girl wearing a yukata stood before me. Let's play! I want to play house. Okay, next, let's play hide and seek. I want to hide. Alright, then I'll count to 30. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'd been playing with Aika-chan all this time, playing house and tag. Wait, why was I playing with this girl? I was looking for something in the forest. I'm sure it doesn't matter. 29, 30. Next was hide and seek, so I had to find her. I couldn't find Aika-chan. Where was she? She couldn't have gone that far. We had played so many games that walking around trying to find her made me tired. Aika-chan, I'm tired. Let's take a small break. I spoke louder than usual, but maybe she didn't hear me. My feet hurt and I couldn't find Aika-chan. Wait, who was Aika? Why was I here? Yuzu passed out, exhausted, and never opened her eyes again. End 1. Play friends forever. I told a certain lie when I was an elementary school student. I made up a scary story that wasn't real, and it spread not just through our class, but the entire school as an urban legend. According to the legend, there was a shrine in the forest near our school, and if you went there, you could see a ghost. But in reality, there was no shrine, nor could you see any ghost, and when I went to the forest myself, there was nothing but a single path that led you through to the other side. I was so happy that the legend spread that I added some small details. There were conditions you had to meet to see the ghost, that ghost's name, and some fake people who went missing. thinking it was all just a bit of fun. But even so, it was all fake, and by the time we all started junior high, everyone had forgotten about the legend. I had never told anybody about the conditions or setting, so when I did so for the first time, I tried desperately not to grin. But when someone said they were going to write a book based on the legend they heard at elementary school, well, there wasn't exactly a lot to work with. I stopped scrolling as I looked through the news app on my phone. A 20-year-old novelist now missing. It couldn't be. There was a young girl. She was born from a man's made-up story. Her name was Aika, and she wanted some friends. But no matter how much she waited, no friends ever came. She was alone in the darkness, and no matter how much she walked or ran, she lived in darkness wherever she went. And then one day, she heard a voice. "Aika-chan, come here." Having her name called, the girl turned towards the voice. As she did, the darkness around her grew lighter, and next thing she knew, she was in a forest. She could see a woman's back in front of her, and the girl ran to her before she could stop herself. "Big sister!" The girl, who was born from someone's imagination, appeared in the forest. Was the girl a person or a ghost? No, the girl didn't exist. After all, both the girl and the legend were nothing more than made-up stories. End 3. Just a made-up story?